All right, we are back right here on Culture Shocks. You might have missed this. You might have missed this last week. You probably didn't miss it as easily if you were living in Iran, but you might have missed it even there. This comes to us from Hojatulesem Kazim Sadehi. You say, not a common household name. No, it's not, but he is the Friday prayer leader in Iran, the mullah's favorite prayer giver on Fridays. Here's what he said last week. Many women who do not dress modestly lead young men astray, corrupt their chastity, and spread adultery in society, which consequently increases earthquakes. Dressing immodestly increases earthquakes. You would think he was learning meteorological and geological truth from Pat Robertson, who thinks that way here in the United States. Well, someone who saw this and who was shocked, truly shocked to hear it, decided to do something about it. She's with us now. Jen McCreight is, by her own description, on her own www.blaghag.com website, a liberal, geeky, nerdy, scientific, perverted, atheist, feminist trapped in Indiana, most specifically in the science department of Purdue University. Jen, thanks very much for being with us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Okay, look, you see this, it's on the blogs, it's all over. Earthquakes caused by immodesty. Immediately you react not by wrapping yourself up in a blanket, by coming up with an extremely clever idea which has gone, well, beyond viral already.
Well, thank you. Yes, so I came up with a scientific experiment to test the cleric's claims that immodest women actually do cause earthquakes. So I invented an event called Boobquake. It's a very witty name.
Yes, Boobquake. Yes.
Yes. Basically what I'm asking women to do is on April the 26th, I want them to dress as immodestly as they feel comfortable doing, which personally I'll be showing some cleavage, but if you want to wear shorts, even some ankles will offend some people, I'm sure, as being modest enough. And basically we're going to see if dressing immodestly does in fact cause earthquakes. So I'm going to look and see if the number of earthquakes has increased or the severity of earthquakes has increased that day compared to in the past.
No kidding. Now, you have, as a science student at Purdue University, one of America's august Midwestern universities, you have access. What?
I love it here. I have a note on my blog that I'm trapped in Indiana, but I do love it at Purdue. So
you do love it at Purdue, and you're about to graduate, I understand, and that's good. But you have access to. Do you have access to seismographs to determine locally, for example, whether there are earthquakes, or are you going to do this on a more international scale?
I was looking more internationally. There are a lot of different websites that track earthquake data and just list where those earthquakes took place and the strength of each earthquake, and I'm going to be looking at that data. And they may, if an earthquake does occur in West Lafayette, which happened before, it's very uncommon, I'll look at that too.
But now this is, of course, not just a national but an international phenomenon. There is a place on Facebook that people can learn about this and comment on it, and you've got, like, what, 15,000 people already signed up?
It's actually up to 45,000 by now.
45,000 people. 45,000 people, and all over the world. So you're going to have to be tracking seismic activity all over the world.
Yep, but it'll be fun, so I'm not too worried about that.
Now what about this? Because you're a scientist. I am not a scientist. Occasionally I play one on television when I'm trying to defend evolution or something, but I'm not a scientist.
Okay.
Now, let's say that you find out that there is some additional earthquake activity around the world on April 26th, Monday. Now, you will presumably have to do something called multiple regression analysis to determine whether the cause of the earthquakes might be attributable not to immodesty or cleavage or even ankle showing, but to some other event occurring that day, right?
That's true. We would definitely have to increase our sample size, which I think would make a lot of people happy to do Boobquake again. But I've also jokingly said that maybe I can include other days of the year known for their immodesty, such as maybe Mardi Gras or Carnival in Brazil, something like that, and see if those correlate with increased earthquakes as well.
Man, you could probably, just having mentioned that, now people will already do that. I would, if you're in a publish or perish world, in the academic world of science, you may want to start writing those papers right now, because somebody's going to hear
true.
this. Or you've been on, I know you were on, I believe, Canadian radio recently. The Canadians are going to steal it from us, and once again, we will be second in scientific outreach to another country. Now, well, you're worried about that, aren't you?
Oh, I don't want to get scooped for this serious study. I mean,
no.
I'll definitely mention the cleric in my acknowledgments.
I think you should, because I'm sure that he will be quite happy to hear it. Now, there's been a little bit of response, a huge amount of response on your blog and on Facebook, and some of it is from other people who also would characterize themselves as feminists and saying, listen, frankly, this is a good excuse for men to oogle women, and you're just contributing to that, and where do you get off even saying you are a feminist? This is a sexist idea, to which you say?
Well, first of all, that has been really a rare response. I mean, the most overwhelming response has been positive, and I've heard from so many women and feminists and men saying that this is a great idea and it's very pro-feminist. So it's your opinion to an extent, but I do, sympathize with them. My original post, I had no idea that this many people would read it, and I kind of wrote it quickly, not really thinking about my wording. I was kind of just, tailoring it to my audience, and I think it could be seen as possibly objectifying women, and that's a legitimate concern women have, and it's okay for people to be thinking about that, but I just want to make it clear that that's not what this is about. It's just a bit of fun, just to show that, lighthearted mockery sometimes is the best way to deal with a situation, sort of like The Daily Show.
Exactly.
But that I'm not forcing women to do this. They can join if they want. They don't have to dress more modest than they feel comfortable.
No.
It's all just about, embracing your body and dressing how you would like to dress, and just we're all coordinating it on the same day.
Exactly. Yep. And people will be, some people, of course, may be assumed to have some problem with religion, or at least with religious fundamentalism, because the way they dress normally shows, for example, a lot of cleavage. Are you suggesting that people who are involved in Boobquake might perhaps wear a ribbon? Almost every color's already been taken, but some kind of ribbon to indicate this is Boobquake cleavage as opposed to regular cleavage?
I really don't think that'd be necessary, just because the whole point is to show that women are allowed to be doing this every day, and it should be accepted as normal. Yeah. So I don't think we should be drawing extra attention to ourselves because we're dressing how we want to dress. It shouldn't be a big deal theoretically. So, I mean, there's all the news coverage, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, it's you've already had a lot of news coverage, and you're going to get more because this is such a fascinating idea and phenomenon. And have you been contacted by the Fox News channel yet?
No, I haven't.
I think you will be. I believe that you will be, and I suspect, I just have this feeling that Rupert Murdoch is having meetings right now with several of the hosts, including several of the anchors, including Megyn Kelly, whose program I was personally on just a few days ago, saying, wear burqas today, just because they don't want to be associated with this, because, among other things, not only are you a feminist and a clever person, but you're also an atheist. Yes. Okay, here's what we're going to do, Jen. We're going to take a little break. We're going to sell a few products, and when we come back, continue this conversation. Jen McCreight is my guest. She is the author of Blag Hag. That's at www.blaghag.com. She says, Boobquake. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Let's show religious fundamentalists a little bit about science, and we'll do it with a little bit of cleavage and more. We'll be back for more right here on Culture Shocks. All right, we're back right here on Culture Shocks. We're talking to